So unfortunately, this trip started with a bit of a bloody drama. So we're gonna have to park the trip for the moment. See the middle plug there? It's all that. Bloody hell. Alright, so we've arrived. This is our first time staying at caravan park in quite a while. We're going to sea lion tour, which is pretty cool. I'm going all the way up. I'm going all the way up. I'm letting go in my heart of everything that holds me down. Well, good morning. Unfortunately, this is one of those moments where we wouldn't normally share with yes, but I guess it's just one of those things you do have to deal with, and hopefully sharing this with you might be helpful for when you get out and about and do some of these things. Basically, after I filmed the sunset with the drone there last night, I got to cooking dinner and those types of things, and it got dark real quick, and the kids came up, and suddenly you know, the night was done, so it wasn't much to share anyway from last night. But we've had a pretty rough night here last night, and Ace just got back now. It's at 6:30. She just ran out to grab a coffee, and we're going to do a quick pack up and get going. But I'll show you in a minute what I did outside, knowing you know, the wind was coming and the rain was coming, and it's here now. But if I didn't do what I did last night, you know, you get an idea of the situation I might have had to deal with out in the morning there. And we've been there before and we've made that mistake, so I'll show you that one. Okay, so unfortunately at this point here, the audio wasn't usable. It's pretty windy and pretty rainy, and you can see how much I'm enjoying it. But at this point here, I'm just giving myself a bit of a pat on the back and talking about how it pays to keep an eye on the weather. And if you know it's going to rain, try and get everything packed up before you go to bed, as I did here. And I'll just give you a quick look at it and what it looks like. So if you didn't pack everything up there, you can imagine when I was walking out to in the morning. And fortunately, I didn't have to deal with all that. But at this point here, I'm just letting everyone know I'm going to have a quick look at the canvas here and see how wet everything is. But then if you're interested as well, hang around, because I'm going to show you what it's like when we get home, which is about a 2.5 hour drive, and we'll actually see how wet everything is inside the camper. So a quick look here at the side bit here. This is the front right. You can see this is sort of reasonably wet. This area here, which is covered by the trees, fairly dry. You can see how wet, and I wouldn't say it was satch, but it's fairly wet here. Loving how much I'm going to have to put the bikes up in the rain and the wind in a little while. This is the front here. You can see the bottom bit there looks fairly wet, but again, it's not soaked through. This section here probably looks a bit wetter than it is. It's mostly water runoff, and one thing about the canvas is the water does run off fairly easily, so it is fairly wet, but not soaked and satched. This side here was pretty protected and dry. This bit here was dry, but looking at the back here, again, it's reasonably wet, but it's not satched and soaked as canvas can get. Anyway, there you go. There's a quick look at that stuff. We're going to get organised and pack him up here now, and we'll check back here with you in a bit. Rightio, so we're back home now. We finished the... Well, Jurien Bay to Perth is about 200 k's, give or take, depending on where you are in Perth. And so I guess that makes it about a 2-hour drive and maybe 2.5 with a stop. And it did rain, probably half the way back. We've just opened it up, and I'll just give you a quick look around the outside so you can see how wet or dry the canvas is from the outside, and then we'll have a look at the beds inside, and I'll show you what we did as well and what we do in regards to trying to protect the mattresses and, you know, those type of things, because end of the day you want to put something down across the top of the mattress to protect it, and sometimes you got to use what you got. So all this actually feels really dry. It was most of the other side that felt wet. It all feels okay. So this was the bit that was sashed, if you like. And when we were packing this up and it was down flat, the water was pooling. We did try and get a bit out of there, of course, you know, trying to get it to run downhill, but there was obviously still a bit in there. So while it was fairly wet, it definitely wasn't saturated, that's for sure. But it sort of feels a little bit damp. It's got that open up there as well because I just want the underneath to dry it a bit. But the seams down the bottom there still feels pretty damp. That feels pretty damp still. Feels damp. Up there feels damp, that's for sure. And I was just hanging this up before, and that still feels damp. Still see a bit of water that's run off the top there when we set it up. That still feels quite damp. And the end here, that still feels pretty dry. I'll just open him up there and let him breathe a bit under there. But that feels pretty dry. Right, turns out I've been talking to myself for the last 5 minutes. I forgot to record it. I've undone it all, but I'll quickly show you this end here. So this was the sheet up against that wall there. If I straighten him out there, you can, there you go, you can sort of see it through there. So through there and up through there, that was fine. The underlay there is all dry. All this was fine. I mean, this is the mattress that comes with a camper, but just that, oh, that's okay there. That feels a bit damp. Up around the corner there was a little bit damp as well, but the other side was fine as well. All up around there was all good, so no dramas there. Again, we'll take the sheet off and give him a wash. This edge here was a bit wet. Now this is from the transit water, okay, because when you're driving, this is the seal on the outside. I'll chuck up a bit of footage now so you can actually see it. The water will actually come up in there and sort of wet there, but again, that's mostly fine. That's dry. It was just the sheet that was wet. And let's go and have a look down here. Alright, so that's all dry. It's all fine. Feels fine. Just undo this strap here. No, feels fine. Undo that one. Okay, so that's a bit damp there. You can see it on the camera there. Walk through there. And just a little bit on the side there. Feel the mattress. That all feels fine. That feels dry now. Up there, that still feels a little bit damp, but other than that bit there, that's The only bit on this side is actually bloody wet at all. Let's take him off to see if there's any more there. So mattress feels fine, it's just a bit of surface water on the mattress sheet. All the sides, these were all dry, these were all dry. As you can see here, this one here has dried out a bit in the last 5 minutes. We only opened up 10 minutes ago, but that's all still a bit damp through there. And rightio, so there you go, you've seen how wet it was when I packed it up. Again, it's not satched. We've had it quite a bit more wet than it was, and same sort of thing, it's just sort of around the edges there it gets damp and those types of things. But if you're going home, you obviously get home and open up and let it dry out like we're doing now, and we'll wash the sheets and stuff. But if you're traveling, if you get to your location at a decent point in the day, especially if you're up in North Australia, like we're up in Cairns, and we drove out to somewhere, I forget where it was now. We basically had the camper open up in about an hour or so, and you know, in the warmer climates these things dry out pretty quickly and that sort of stuff. So yeah, there you go, it's not a big deal. Hope that was helpful for you. Jurien Bay is a really nice spot. It's really well set up for families, especially. There's plenty to do there for the kids. And you know, if you just want to go up as a couple or by yourself, again, it's, you know, it's really nice there. The caravan park itself, you're paying for location. The park itself is pretty average, $57 a night for power site. It's a bit bloody rich. Like, I tend to enjoy staying in caravan parks. The atmosphere is good. It does get a bit noisy, you know, people are always up early, but the vibe's pretty good, and it's a great place to take kids, that's for sure. But anyway, I reckon I've probably rambled on enough now. Hope you enjoy it. You know, sometimes that's just how it goes. We'll wrap this one up here. I'm Diesel for Get Around Oz. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Alright. Alright, good morning. Yeah, look, unfortunately the weather's turned on us. So what I might do is I'll show you just how wet it is here. Might take the chance to show you something that we get a lot of questions about, and it's packing up the camper when it's wet, and you know, how wet do the beds and the inside bits get. So I'll give you a quick look at it and I'll show you just how wet the camper is right now. If we get time later today when we get home, we'll open up and we'll show you and see how wet the inside is. If it's not sweet, but it's likely to be a bit of dampness here. But you sort of see most of the side bits here, sort of all runs off pretty well. That's just a bit of surface water there. The side here, it's sort of under the tree, but again, most of it runoffs sort of just the top here. Yeah, there's an inside being an idiot. See around the side there again, mostly just surface stuff, so that'll be fine. We could leave it half an hour and most of it will dry up, but we just haven't got time today. So again, a bit of surface water, but this is where you can see that's soaked. Again, you see it's dry on the inside, and that's what I would expect it to be like on the inside, but sometimes I'll see it just seeps through after it's been sitting there, which will be a day by the time we get home. You can see there it's sort of pretty wet, but look, we'll pack it up. It is what it is, and you know, we can always just let it dry at home without too many problems. But yeah, hey, we'll see how it goes anyway. We'll get out of the rain. We're going to get this packed up quick because it's actually starting to rain again. Camper trailer life on the road, eh? Alright, so moment of truth, we just arrived back in Perth after drive all afternoon. So like we mentioned before, we packed up in the rain this morning, so I'm going to show you how it's come out, and see it's still wet. It'll dry out, the canvas will dry out pretty quickly here tonight, but obviously we're going to check out how wet it is inside. So you can see the water here, so the actual canvas is still wet. Droplets, so it's all sort of, see from here, so that's all sort of from the roof there. But you ready to have a look inside?
Yeah.
Alright, here we go, moment of truth.
So it's a bit, just down here, there's a bit of water, but I feel like our seals don't quite seal there properly because it always gets a bit of water in through the door.
In the door, you reckon?
Yeah, we had it when we were doing in cans and stuff as well. So other than that bit I just showed you there, like it's wet here, so you certainly wouldn't be sleeping on that. You'd want to be changing that tonight. And in this corner as well, it's just a little bit damp.
So shine the light back on that spot there. There you go, now you can see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so damp spot there.
Yeah, because this didn't cover, this is just a spare blanket I put over to kind of cover the sheet, but it wasn't big enough to cover it all. So the rest of it where this was covering is fine. Oh, hang on. No, that's a bit wet too.
It's a bit damp down the corner.
Just damp, yeah. So I'd just be taking it off and putting another sheet on tonight if we were on the road.
How's the mattress itself?
No, oh, it's a little bit damp there. Not a lot, yeah.
Try to bring that one up. And all the canvas on the inside is all dry as well, so I'll give you a quick look at the outside in a sec, but
that's wet there though. It's the ends where the ends are folded.
Okay, and where the window is wet there as well, is it?
No, more the green. I guess that's got 3 layers there, doesn't it? Like the window and then the netting, whereas that doesn't.
That's true there as well. But we'll have a quick look and the other end.
The other end's actually done quite well.
Because that was under the tree, wasn't it? So the roof didn't probably get quite as wet.
Yeah, it's just slightly damp on the edges. So again, if we were on the road tonight, I'd be changing the sheets and putting new sheets on. But the actual mattress is dry and fine. So yeah, just take off the sheet and put another one on. But it's certainly by far one of the driest we've seen it when we've packed away.
Yeah.
Wet. Maybe we've worked it out now.
Yeah. So so that's still wet there, so we'll see. It'll probably dry in half an hour, so look, in the 10 minutes we've had it out, it's sort of starting to drill a bit of water there.
We should try next time, Dion.
Yeah.
Getting some more of these waterproof things from Kmart, which we use for the kids in case they have an accident, and putting them over the top before we fold away.
Do the trick, wouldn't it?
Might actually. It's only taken us about, 60 shutdowns in the rain to think of that.
There you go, that's the verdict. So it was raining, it was raining pretty bloody decently when we packed up. Well, we'll finish up the episode here, so thanks for watching. If you like the video, give it a like, hey. Give us some help to try and get out there for anyone else that might want to see something that might be helpful to them, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And that's all I got. I'm Diesel for Getting Around Rolls. Thanks for watching.